very warm welcome to the second round of the Fanatec GT World Challenge Asia, powered by AWS. 2 races coming up this weekend at the Chang International Circuit in Thailand, following hot on the heels of the opening round at Sepang in Malaysia. 33 cars coming out to play on this tight, twisty circuit with the 2 long straights. The racing should be fantastic, and qualifying was super close. So we're really in store for a fantastic pair of 1-hour races. As you can see, the grid busy down there. Couple of Thai drivers, both Thai drivers within the top 9 starting positions. So a little personal battle between Tanat Sathyanthirikul, no doubt, and Futikon Intrafuvasak. But it's an Audi on pole position. It was very tight, but James Yu Kwai came out top of the pile for Audi Sport Asia Team Absolute. So the tension is building down there. All drivers thinking about turn 1, but particularly turn 3 on the opening lap, the hairpin that will really sort the wheat from the chaff. There is turn 3 at the far end of the circuit. 5.5 kilometres this circuit, 12 turns in all, and this is where it's all going to happen. Turn 1 is a right-hander, then there's a kink at turn 2, up to turn 3. That's where it tightens up, and then it goes over a little crest, turns 4, 5, 6, around the lake, 7, and then into a rise, down into a dip, and 10, 11, and that super tight turn 12 could really sort out the order. It's going to be tight, it's going to be twisty, and all the drivers are thinking about what lies ahead. Let's go to car 6th on the grid. It's car number 911, and down with Amy is Tanat Sathyanthirikul.
So Tanat, I was hoping to talk to you today because landing at Podium Airport, leading up to the circuit, I saw so many faces on the billboards and everything. That's a lot of pressure, I guess. How are you taking it?
It's a bit of pressure, but it's also feel really good to be driving in your home country, you know, in front of the crowd and stuff. It feel more relaxed a little bit when the car really start running. When you see a lot of people like waving the flag around, it feel much nicer.
It must be a special feeling. How much do you like and enjoying racing on home soil?
Yeah, it always feels special. Like this year, I have only one chance to race here, so it makes it extra special for me.
All right, all the best luck to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, certainly wherever you went around the circuit, as soon as you got up to Buriram, great images of Tanat Sathyanthirikul and fellow Thai racer Futikon Intrafuvasak. A lot of promotion for the race, and quite rightly so. 33 of the top GT3 runners out around the world here. But let's take a look at the fields, because Tom Hornsby is our excellent guide to what lies ahead of us, and he'll talk us through the vagaries of all the fields here in Thailand.
Fanatec GT Asia 2024 gathers pace this weekend at Chang International Circuit, where 33 cars contest rounds 3 and 4. This is your guide to Buriram. Thailand's MotoGP venue staged our season opener last year, but has now moved back to its traditional post-Sepang slot. Speaking of which, a victory apiece on the opening weekend sees Liu Wei and Lauren Heinrich top the early standings from Adley Fong and Frankie Cheng. 2 points separate the Origin Porsche and FAW Audi, while Yuambo and Liu Yi Hongli lie third in Origin's other 911. Those 3 crews also each represent a different class: Pro-Am, Silver, and our new Silver Am category. Am, meanwhile, is led by this Audi, shared by Mineki Akura and Hiroshi Hamaguchi. Factory commitments elsewhere mean several world-class drivers make their first appearance of the season at Chang. Heinrich swapped with Patrick Pilet, who also joined Liu last year. Craft Bamboo has Maro Engel and Maximilian Goertz in its garage. Jackson Evans replaces Joel Eriksson at Phantom. And Lucas Stoltz partners Prince Abubakar Ibrahim at a circuit where the same combination won together last year. There's also a new entry in the shape of Thai Super Series regulars Be Quick Racing. Henk Kicks and Rodney Janes share the AM-class Audi that made several race-by-race appearances last season. Elsewhere, top Thai protagonists Futikon Intrafuvasak and Tanat Sathyanthirikul had contrasting weekends at Sepang, but should be amongst the frontrunners on home soil. Both drive for Porsche, which is fighting Mercedes-AMG for top spot in the global Fanatec GT World Challenge powered by AWS manufacturer standings. Stuttgart currently trails Affalterbach after 12 races on 4 continents, while BMW lies third. As always, qualifying and both races are live on SRO's GT World YouTube channel this Saturday and Sunday. And of course, you can stay up to speed with everything here at Chang on the championship socials.
I'm here with Ryo Ogawa. He's starting front row. from P2. You were 1/100th of a second short to pole position. It was quite close. But what are you looking forward to today? You proved some speed.
So this is my second race in GT World Challenge Asia and also race this beauty. So I need more experience for pole position, but I'm happy to be here. And Shige-san, RM Korsa and team also did a great job, and so happy to be here.
Wonderful. So you are two silver drivers. How are you splitting time?
This is secret, but maybe I push maximum. Yes, and hope to be back in Podium.
I hope to see you there. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amy, with Rio Ogawa, who'll be starting in the best of the Ferraris outside of the front row. That's LM Corsa, but it's Audi Sport Asia Team Absolute with car number 41. It'll be starting from pole position. So the manufacturers all duking it out to see who's going to take maximum points from the first of two races here. But as mentioned by Tom in his excellent guide, the first race at Sepang was won by an Audi, the second by a Porsche. Will it be a turn of a Mercedes in this race, or perhaps a Ferrari, or another Audi victory? We'll have to wait and see, but certainly in this race, the Audi pack out three of the top four positions, and car number 41 starting on pole, it's James Yu Kwai. We're about to hear from the other driver, Akash Nandi, who'll be down on the grid with Amy.
So I have a big question to you. You starting from pole position, he always seems so calm and cool, but wasn't he really hyped with his first pole position, and is he nervous?
He's definitely quite happy with his first pole position. I mean, hats off to him. He did an amazing job. But I think he'll be good. I think he's looking forward to a good race. He's very calm. He's very collected. I think we're both very similar in that sense. So let's see how we can do this coming race.
If you can share us a little bit of the strategy, how do you split time?
Well, I can't say too much, but definitely we would try to maximize his stint as best as possible, depending where we are on track. And hopefully we open up a good gap, and then my job becomes a little bit easier. But either ways, we'll be pushing.
And the fact that he's starting from pole, does that add pressure onto your shoulders as well?
Not at all. I mean, he knows what he's doing, and I have full trust in his capabilities. We've been working very well so far, and we're just getting better, with our feedback, with our pairing as well. So I'm confident in his capabilities.
Fantastic. Good luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. So that was a Malaysian racer, Akash Nandi, and certainly the best place to start will be pole position. When they were talking about tactics there, the drivers have to there has to be a driver change between 25 minutes into this 1 hour race and 35 minutes. The pit window, as we call it, open for 10 minutes, but I think we gathered there that James Yu from pole position, if he's in the lead, will stay out as long as he can, and just before the 35-minute mark will dive into the pit lane. There's a minimum pit stop time. It's 90 seconds from pit in to pit out, with the stop bit in between. And the top three runners from Sepang, from the second race at Sepang, have penalties, time penalties, success penalties, if you will. And the car that's got the most of those is number 4, the Origin Motorsport Porsche. That will serve an extra 15 seconds at a standstill in its pit stop for taking victory in the second race at Sepang. That's starting from 8th on the grid. The car that has the second place penalty, 10 seconds extra, is all the way down in 22nd. But let's go down to car 93. We've heard from one of the Thai racers. Let's hear from car 93, or more to the point, Vutikon in Thrafuvasak.
So, Vuti, as a local driver here, it must be a lot of pressure having your face on all the billboards around. How you're taking?
Yeah, well, it's home race, of course. It's my pleasure to come back here together with all the competitors here. But of course, home race. But now the track has been changed a bit of a few exits, so it's like we have to start all over again. So I don't get any advantage, but home race I will try my best anyway. Yeah.
How is the track, the conditions and everything? It's a good start today, I guess. What are you aiming for?
Well, it was raining yesterday, so the quality, the track was quite clean, and we had a bit of understeer like everywhere. But on the race, we'll see. I'll try to get a good start and try to avoid any incident and try to bring it home safely.
All right, good luck and enjoy your home race.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amy. Now, the point there about being very little grip this morning, because as Vutikon pointed out there, the track was blasted with heavy rain yesterday. and it took through most of the first qualifying session for any rubber to be put down on the racing line to add grip, and a lot of drivers lost times. In fact, Vuti had the worst award of all. He lost 5 of his best laps in qualifying, so still to qualify in 9th position shows just how well he was going. But the steward's always looking for drivers who go out beyond the edge of the circuit. Looking at the Ferrari down there, that's the Rover Racing Ferrari that had a fantastic run to the podium at Sepang. That's starting some way down the order. In fact, Yang Jietong was starting down on row 9, so it was so close in qualifying. Top dozen cars for this race, today's race, covered by 1 second. In the second qualifying second, it was the top 17. It's super, super tight. So here's the view. If you've never seen the Chang International Circuit, you can see there are tight, twisty parts. There are long runs down to the hairpin at turn number 3. Then this twisting infield section. And again, you can see the white lines on the edge of the circuit. If drivers keep getting all 4 wheels out beyond those, they will begin to get penalties. And hopefully we won't have to talk about those, but it's something all drivers in modern motor racing have to be aware of. But what they know here in Thailand is the fact that rain can come in. And last year, we got to the point where the cars came back to the grid at the end of their formation lap, and then suddenly the race had to be delayed by an hour because the storms came sweeping in. We should be okay today. So James, you starting down on pole position, giving a little wave to the flags. He is very cool, calm, collected. Whenever he's interviewed, he's absolutely on it, but no history on it. Alongside the LM Corsa Ferrari, the 296 GT3, and it's effectively, it started its racing series, its racing life at the end of 2022. Came on strong through last year. One of them won the Nürburgring 24 Hours, which is a round of this year's Intercontinental GT Challenge. But what I love here, in the 2 grids that we have, it's Audi very strong for race 1, and then it's the Mercedes that came on mightily when mainly the pros were driving in the second qualifying session for tomorrow's race. But we've got a real mix of manufacturers up and down the grid. 3-minute board being held up. The drivers will go round at the top of the hour, they'll head off on a formation lap, they'll come back round, and as I said, 12 months ago, that was when it all had to be called to a halt while immense rainstorms and thunder and lightning swept through. New face near the front end, Ruo Haing. Again, Audi's going super strongly. That's from 4th place, and he'll hand over to a name you've probably heard of. Marcus Winkelhock will do the second half of the race. The car that qualified best on average across the 2 grids for today's race and tomorrow is the 888 Mercedes. There it is, starting with Prince Abu Bakr Ibrahim from 5th on the grid, and his teammate Lucas Stoltz has taken pole for tomorrow's race. So if they can have 2 good races starting at the sharp end of the grid, that should really, really boost their championship challenge. So that's 888 JMR, Johor Motor Racing. And alongside, this is the 911, this is the Tanat Sathi and Thirikul Absolute Racing Porsche. So he's best place of the Porsches on the grid, 6th. He'll be sharing with Sri Lankan racer Ishan Piris, who will be doing the second part of this race. 33 cars in all. We had 33 at Sepang, but the Elegant Racing team, Mercedes, had problems, couldn't make it here. But Henk Kicks, who's been racing in Thailand for a good decade, has leapt at the chance again to join this grid for the Be Quick Racing team. Now, this was the car that won the second race in Sepang a few weeks ago. Wei Lu, new teammate this time around because he's brought the experienced Patrick Pilet on board for the weekend. So look out for that metallic purple Porsche. Definitely going to feature. The sister car is tucked in behind as well, just 1 row further back, Wan Bo. But 33 cars, just remember these facts. 1 hour, 33 cars, 12 turns, plenty of overtaking opportunities. So another minute is sounded, and we'll get to the point in about 40 seconds. The final minute board has been shown. Everyone extraneous to running the cars and making sure they're fired up now, leaving the grid. We get to see the cars in all their beauty, the last few doors. The drivers want them closed as late as possible. It's a grey day. It's a bright grey day here at the Chang International Circuit, but rest assured the heat in those cockpits builds up very, very quickly indeed. So every breath of fresh air the drivers can get, they will welcome very, very fondly. Lamborghini's in the mix. They were going increasingly well this year. Vincenzo Sospiri Racing has 2, and then a sister car from the ANR crew also in the mix. Really interesting through the years of GT3 how some manufacturers gain form and popularity as they introduce a new model, and that's why we're seeing more Ferraris. 2 formation laps, I'm being told, give the drivers a feel for this circuit before they head off for the 1 hour of racing. And as I pointed out, between 25 minutes in this race and 10 minutes after that is the pit window time. James Yu gets underway from pole position. So it's Audi Sport Asia team, Absolute, starting ahead of LM Corsa with their Ferrari. Then FAW Audi Sport Asia Racing team, Frankie Chang, he was a winner in the opening race at Sepang. He starts third with Ruohan Huang alongside, also another Audi. So let's talk you through the grid as the field runs from turn 1 down through the kink at 2. James Yu on pole, Ria Ogawa alongside, Audi from Ferrari. Best place to start, front row. Frankie Cheng, Kung Fu starts third, and Ruo Huang alongside, again, another Audi. Best of the Mercedes, Prince Abu Bakr Ibrahim, he'll be starting 5th, and then the better placed, the 2 Thai racers, Tanat Satin Thirikul from 6th in his Absolute Porsche. Last year's champion, now with Absolute Racing, not in the Mercedes, now in the Porsche, Anthony Liu, and Wei Liu, a winner in Sepang, starts 8th. Then Vutagorin through Fuvasak, he's carrying one of our onboard cameras, and Bo Yuan alongside. So Porsche from Porsche, then a new face, Min Heng and Bian Yi, the best place of the Lamborghini, starting from 12th on this 33-car grid. Andre Canard, now in the Ferrari this year, ducks all aboard the side of that. And the top AM runner by some distance, Hiroshi Hamaguchi, starts 14th. Jeffrey Lee, Craft Bamboo Racing, going to be a strong run. He's got Maxi Gert sharing with him. Satoshi Hoshino in the best place of the Aston Martin, starts 16th. Then Jeton Liang, Harmony Racing, and Bihuang Zhu, second of the Lamborghini. A silver driver and a Pro-Am driver lineup. Then Jingsu Sun, expect great things. That car should come up for Phantom Global Racing. And Wang Zhongwei, Climax Racing. Again, he's got a good teammate with Ralph Aron. Now the one and only Nissan, the mighty Nismo. Irabon will start 21st, and Cao Chi will start alongside for Craft Bamboo Racing. One and only BMW in the race. Brian Kunfan, Team KRC, and David Chipto-Biantoro in another Ferrari for Garage 75. Then Hiroaki Nagai, great guns last year for Porsche Center Okazaki. That will come forward. And the new Korean team, Full Gas Motorsport, will start to 26th with Han Ming Wang alongside. Then Setia Wan Santoso, another Aston Martin driver. He has no teammate, so he'll have to get out at the pit stop, then get on board and complete the race. And then Liu Chang, a Climax Racing Mercedes. Akira Mitsutani, and the second of the Porsche Center Okazaki entries, Kiyoshi Uchiyama. Penultimate row, Brian Lee for GTO Racing, making his debut in the championship, Australian racer Rod Jane, and then finally, bringing up the rear, we have Andrew McPherson, long-time supporter, many years with Lamborghini, now quite a few years into his Porsche experience for AMAC Motorsport, 33rd on a 33-car grid. So along the start-finish straight, still trying to get heat into their Pirellis. Riding on board with 911, sorry, that's the car, one of the cars carrying our 4 cameras. It's Tanat Satin Thirikul, and his teammate will be watching on with great interest. And I'm sure Tanat will run as long as he possibly can. The other cars, by the way, that are carrying the onboard cameras is the team Gojigan Nissan, that's car number 500. Also car number 44, the Full Gas Motorsport Porsche. And 77, Zhang Liatong Harmony Racing Ferrari. So we've moved them around the manufacturers to share them out. And that is the Harmony Racing 296 GT3, Jiatong Liang. Looking at the view as the field comes down over a little rise. There we are now, turning into turn 4. They go basically 3 left-handers, then a right, around a sort of little reservoir in the infield. Plenty of runoff space, plenty of circuit width. Now we're riding on board with Hirabon in the mighty Nismo. That's a car, mid-blue, that should be coming up the order. Plenty of punch from that, as you'd expect from a Nismo GT3. Think of the success the Nismo Nissans have had over the years and over the decades, all around the world. So it's great to have that in the mix. Field now starting to bunch up. Nothing more the crews can do in the pit garages. The next things they can do, there's Marcus Winkelhock looking on, as his car is starting 4th on the grid. That's car number 40. That's in the hands of Ruohan Huang. But the field is bunching up as they go through turns. The front runner is in turn 9, the pole starter, and the tail end car, the AMAC Motorsport Porsche, just turning into turn 8. They'll get closer and closer. As you can see, looking on board from the Full Gas Motorsports Porsche, that's towards the tail of the field. That's going between turns 8 and 9. Of course, the tricky thing here is turn 12, the final corner, is more than 90 degrees, about 110 degrees. It's very, very tight indeed, but these drivers need to get their cars 2 by 2 for 16 rows and the extra bonus ball, if you like, at the back, the AMAC Motorsport Porsche. Now they're all coming through the penultimate corner, turn number 11, halfway down to turn 12. James Yu in that yellow, black and white Audi just waiting for the moment. He'll have the right-hand side of the circuit as they go through the tight right onto the start-finish straight. Alongside, Rio Ogawa's going to have to see what he can do, but bear in mind, it's quite a tight first corner as well. Plenty of runoff, but I think we'll see cars going wide. We almost always do in their sheer desire to get through that first corner. And anyway, so into the lead of the first part of the race. The lights go from red to green. A very, very quick start from James Yu. Got that under control. Looks like could be Audi first and second, but the Ferrari rear go all braking very, very late. The front end just not wanting to turn in. Someone from about fifth ran a little bit wide in behind, and some even wider still. Satirical. The green headlights on that dark Porsche gaining 1 or 2 positions. So the tie driver up into fourth through the kink. Still in fourth, not being able to get ahead, but a nice tidy start down into the hairpin for the first time. James Yu in front, but definitely Tanat Satirical went from 6th up to 4th. He'll be pleased with that, but neat and tidy. Ryogawa hanging on to second place. First 2 cars starting to make a little break. They were far enough ahead and not troubling each other down into the hairpin to pick the best line, whereas behind the gaggle of Audis, in fact, Ryohan has just moved ahead of Tanat Satirical to get the 4th place back, so they are actually in grid order. The first 4 runners with Satirical gaining 1 to go from 6th to 5th to 4th, back to 5th again. But in behind as they sweep through the infield section of the circuit, everybody has got through turn 5 and 6, and the lead car, James Yu, through turn 8 into the little compression down towards turn 9. The circuit starts to tighten up all over again. Phantom Global Racing, that's Vuitacording from Fuvasang, blue with gold flashes. Looks as though he's pretty much where he started. He started the race in 9th. In fact, he is still in 9th place. Down to the final corner, turn 12. Our race leader, James Yu, coming through, clear of Rio Ogawa by 7/10 of a second at the end of the opening lap, but looking to see in the background, looking to go back into 4th place. Can't do it, is the dark grey and green Porsche of Tanat Satirical has to hold back in 5th place. It's all about trying to get the grip in your tyres, but it's also about getting a slipstream. We've got the longest straight now with a little kink. That's turn 2, hardly a turn at all. Up to the hairpin they go, and everyone's trying to get whatever aerodynamic advantage they have, but have they got enough heat in the tyres to get the braking done if they want to make a move down into the hairpin? Certainly any driver worth his salt will hold the inside line and say, effectively, if you're going to come past, you're going to have to go around the outside of me to get through. So nobody is going to be handing a place away if they can possibly help it. BMW going well in the mix ahead of Wondercraft Bamboo Racing Mercedes. One little slip and you could lose a lot of places. Anthony Liu, last year's champion, started the race in 7th place, is still in 7th place. That's the yellow and red Porsche this time. This year he's running lots of Mercedes from Craft Bamboo. He wanted one of those here last year, but he's in Porsche from Absolute Racing. But James Yu, the idea from pole position was to get clear, but Rio Ogawa hasn't done much racing in Fanatec GT World Challenge Asia, but he's very much enjoying it, and he's effectively saying, you're not getting away now. Looks like a little bit of a recovery at the back of the field. There might have been a slip-up, certainly down into last place. Started penultimate position. Henk Kicks has lost the position to Andrew McPherson. A little bit of slip and slide, a little bit of scrambling back into position. But the top runners are running like clockwork. It was just under 7/10, now just over 8/10, the gap between James Yu and Rio Ogawa. And Ogawa back to Frankie Cheng Kung Fu, nearly 2 seconds. So I sensed the first 2 were starting to make good their escape, and they're doing that now. But 3rd, 4th, 5th, almost no to tell. There they are, 2 Audis with Satirical riding in behind in Porsche 911, number 911. In 6th place, here it is, Prince Abu Bakar Ibrahim, 888 JMR, braking as late as he can. He's got last year's champion tucked in behind him, but not close enough to make a move, so Anthony Liu's going to have to just chip away, and in fact makes a slightly better exit from turn 3. Now, headlights come on for Prince Abu Bakar Ibrahim. Not close enough to trouble the cars in front, but he wants them to know they're there. Oh, now look out also for Wei Lu, the winner in the second race at Sepang. Starting there, he is in the purple Porsche, starting to close in on Anthony Liu. I sense Anthony Liu in the yellow and red Porsche is slightly faster than Prince Abu Bakar Ibrahim, but he's got to find a place for his car to come through. Now, this is what the doctor ordered for Porsche Center Okazaki. That's unfortunate for them. Their orange runner, car number 18, Hiroaki Nagai, in the pits at the moment, and it didn't look as though there was a massive loss of progress to get that car back on the circuit. Was it a puncture? Before the race, I mentioned that track limits is something the stewards would be looking at. Brian Lee is one of the drivers who already has had a warning against their name. Okay, in the battle for third position, it's still Frankie Chang Kung Fu in 36. Then the car behind with a bit more red on it. Oh dear, Porsche Centre Okazaki. Is that their first race run? Well, losing a lap, you're going to be nowhere in this race. It's way too competitive for that. You can't fight back in an hour, but hopefully whatever's wrong today can be sorted for the second race tomorrow. This is the battle for third place. 36, Frankie Chang Kung Fu, already a winner in race 1 at Sepang. And the car that had an absolutely nightmare of a run a few weeks ago at the circuit in Malaysia is the one that's giving chase. Marcus Winkelhock, we know he's going to be a star in that car, but I must say, for his teammate, Rohan Huang, he's putting on a fantastic performance. And again, what I love, year in, year out, you get names you haven't heard too much about. They come in and they show they've been learning their craft. Maybe in the Chinese GT Championship, they're coming here and they're starting to shine on the global stage. And certainly, Huang is putting in a really good run in 4th place. Again, just look at the spread of cars. Mercedes, Porsches, GT3 is such a global phenomenon. Again, balanced performance sort of equalises the ideal lap time for each of the manufacturers. Then it's up to the drivers to do their bit. We're riding on board with car number 44, the Folgas Motorsport Korean-entered team. And again, this is exposure for them on a new stage. A few years back, before the pandemic, we actually had a round of the championship at KIC, the Korea International Circuit. Fabulous fun it was. Wouldn't mind going back again, but good to have them coming to play in the championship. And that's Han Min Wang. And you can see it's a busy place to be on board that Porsche. There it is, the back of the pack. You see it from the outside now. Just in behind the number 22, Wang Zhongwei, Climax Racing Mercedes. That's a car that's qualified very well for tomorrow's race, so it could be a real tale of 2 days. Up front, James Yu is now a second clear, 1.025 seconds, eking clear of Ryo Ogawa. So it's Audi from Ferrari, then 2 more Audis, but they're another 2 seconds back. Still Frankie Chang in 3rd place. But wherever one looks around this 12-turn circuit, there are battles going on. Oh dear, a bit of front-end damage for the D-Station Racing. Aston Martin looked beautiful in the garage, not quite so beautiful out on the track. So the Treble 7 car has taken a bit of damage there. Satoshi Hoshino at the wheel. And just hearing up from the pit lane, always good to have reports. Car 18 has suffered damage. That was the one we saw retired to the garage. It was hit from behind. I'll tell you what, if there's going to be any hitting going on, the battle going through turn 7, Anthony Liu has just got through, but going through the complex around the infield reservoir, the battle effectively for about 8th place, no, about 6th place downwards suddenly got very, very tight indeed. Remember, that was being led by Prince Abu Bakr Ibrahim. Actually, Liu is behind, but I think Liu has got ahead. First 5 cars running between turns 11 and 12. Yes, Liu is 6th through turn 11. Prince Abu Bakr Ibrahim has lost 3 places. Was there a slip? Was there a slide? Next person challenging him is Vutikorn into Fufusak. So he's gone from 6th place, unfortunately, for one of the Princes Johor down to 9th, but he will be trying to fight his way back. So who did Hoshino hit? Well, let's go down to the pits. We wanted to know what had happened to car 18, Porsche Centre Okazaki. Let us find out from Amy.
永井選手、すごく残念なリタイアなんですけど、何があったんでしょうか。
8コーナーの進入で、後ろの後続車両に追突されて、でその勢いで、隣の車にぶつかって、後ろのディフューザーとフロントのホイールが壊れてしまいまして、走れないのでピットインでリタイアになります。
調子良かったんでね、明日に向けてちょっと休んでいただいて、また明日。
今日はちょっと予選をうまいこといかなかったので、そういうのが重なってこういうことになったと思うので、明日はいい走りができるように、レースができるようにチームと一緒に頑張ります。
切り替えて頑張りましょう。はい、お疲れ様でした。So apparently at turn 8 he was hit. He had some contact from behind and something at the wheel in the back is not working, so they had to retire the car. He was also not good at Q1 today, so he said, all the bad things, they kind of, get together, and he wants to change his mind towards tomorrow. And yeah, he's looking forward to tomorrow. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Amy. Always great to get reports on the pit lane. And just while you were talking about that, one of the Lamborghinis has suddenly been very slow out on the circuit. I think it might have a puncture coming in. I think it might be Zhou Bijwang. Right, now on screen, 6th place, having gained the positions, the number 1 Porsche, last year's champion, Anthony Liu, now being followed by Bo Yuan, Vujikor into Fumisaki behind now. Car number 500, that's one very, very popular. There it is. That's worked its way very nicely up the order. Started 21st, has gained 7 positions. That's Hirabon, the team Gojigan Nissan, and he's trying his best to tackle Andre Canard in the 296 Ferrari. Now this is the view on board. How close can he get to that Ferrari? Again, it's a question of sighting it on the brakes. Of course, will close right in, but of course the Ferrari will be earlier on the pedal. Actually, that said, that was very, very impressive braking from Hirabon. And of course, as the power's down first for the Ferrari, but I would say that was advantage to the Nissan as it gives chase. Now they are coming over the rise between turns 3 and 4. That BMW going increasingly well. Only one BMW in the championship so far this year, and that one going very nicely. Thank you. Up front, by the way, the gap is nearly 1.5 seconds between our races. Here's the AM leader, up in 12th place overall, so started 14th, 2 positions gained, but there is our race leader, James Yu. Last time, 1.497 seconds clear. Looks like it's going to be pretty much the same over Rio Ogawa's Ferrari, 1.674, so another useful 10th and a bit. Akash Nandi, we heard from him on the grid before the race, the Malaysian racer, quite happy for his race leader, his pole setter, James Yu, to go on as long as he possibly can. The pit window is 10 minutes long. It opens when we're 25 minutes in the race, so another 10 minutes away from now, but you can run that first in as long as you get into the pits with 35 minutes still on the clock in the race. Sorry, 25 minutes on the clock, so you're 35 minutes into the race. You expect James Yu setting the pace for stay out as long as he can. Each lap, another 10th ahead of the Ferrari from Rio Ogawa. Rio's going well. You can be fairly sure that they likewise will be giving him a good long run before he hands over to Shikigatsu Wakisaka. So we've got 3 silver class cars. That means 2 silver ranked drivers. Driver 1, driver 2 in the top 3 positions. The top Pro-Am car is that Audi in 4th position. That's been driven so well by Ruohan Huang. And he's doing well enough. He's got Tanat Sapian Thirical, who's also a silver driver pairing. The 911 Porsche in 5th place behind him. And Anthony Liu, I've just looked at his lap times, doing his best, but he's 4.5 seconds down. He got clear, of course, of the 888 Mercedes, and then has got clear track, and now he's trying to make it work. I thought he might start closing on Tanat, but he isn't at the minute. Just in behind them, we've got this little battle between the 87 Origin Motorsport Porsche. There it is, green and white, and the blue and gold car of Vujikor into Fumisaki, who started 9th. He's still in 9th place overall, but in the background you can see the 888 Mercedes. That was the head of 4 Porsches, holding 6th place. Unfortunately, 4 Porsches have gone through. Anthony Liu going through, Wan Bo into Fumisaki, all making their moves. Still very tight into the first corner, just the tail end of the top 10. Field beginning to string out just a little bit, but still, look, you're getting beyond 20th position. Here's Craft Bamboo Racing 88 Mercedes running in 17th, Jeffrey Lee, but then in behind another Phantom Global Racing Porsche, one of the Climax Racing Mercedes, all just looking to see what they can do. Ahead of them in 14th place overall, there's Hirabon in the one and only Nissan. Team Gojigan, such supporters of GT racing for decades now. Now, who's gained the most positions? Well, 8 positions. 2 drivers have done that. One of the Porsche's Enteroka Zawi cars, car 25, Uchiyama, but 89 also with 8 places gained. I said it had gone well. It was Ruan Kunfan. He's showing with John O'Lester. That is the BMW. I said it had made giant strides. It most certainly had 8 places gained. And Hirabon as well. We've seen him recently in 14th position. He started 21st. Do the maths. That's 7 places gained. But 8 places gained, that is a big surprise. In fact, tucked in behind Hirabon is the BMW of Ruan Kunfan, who has those 8 places gained. Good to see that team as well starting to make a push further up the order. That's Team KRC, Chinese racing team. And again, we do love the variety. One thing I'm trying to keep an eye on, but I'm probably failing a bit is how many cars are starting to get warnings for exceeding the track limits. Some of them on their first warnings. The most recent one of those is car number 30. That's Chi, and he'll be handing his car over in probably one of the first drivers to pit, because he's got a very special teammate. He's got this weekend Maro Engel on board. But up front, James Yu, unflappable, it must be said, leading the way. Rio Garwa's giving no change whatsoever. But those two pulling ever further clear. The gap between first and second is now out to 2 seconds. But then behind Rio Garwa, it's 2.4 seconds back. So it's 4.5 seconds cover the top 3 cars. Still Frankie Cheng Kong Fu. What's happened in the last couple of laps is Frankie Cheng is now fairly safe in 3rd place. He's almost got a second advantage over Ruohan Huang. So that's comfortable breathing space for a driver of the experience of Frankie Cheng Kong Fu. There's Frankie going in the background of the shot. There's the Ferrari in 2nd place, LM Corsa. There's Frankie Cheng Kong Fu. And I noticed through turns 5 and 6, little mistake a couple of laps ago from the 4th place, number 40 Audi. Just running a little bit wide, maybe just pushing too deep. In fact, I saw a couple of drivers hitting the curb on the inside of that corner, which isn't very good indeed, because it fires you wide. And between turns 5 and 6, there's very little gap. Here are our top 5. Tanat Seth Empirical, top local driver in 5th place overall off that super strong start. Just losing ground, a 10th of a second here or there. This is the view into turn 1. Someone exiting the pits. That must be the Lamborghini. The green car on the left of the circuit left the shot there. That was the one that limped in, I think, with a puncture. But obviously in a race as competitive as this, he's probably capable of lapping almost at the pace, because it was just outside the top 10 when it suddenly slowed with the 911. But we really need him out of the way. He's a lap down, and for Tanner, riding through turn 3, wants the power down, doesn't want to be interrupted. Now he's trying to see if there's any, well, certainly the driver of the Lamborghini, thank you very much, that's gentlemanly and professional racing. Moves out of the way, doesn't want to ruin anybody's race when his has already been ruined. And I think it's the number 6 Lamborghini, yes it is. That's a one that, you know, very strong crew. Bian Yi at the wheel of that. And he shares with Edoardo Liberati, very quick Italian racers. So for today, their race isn't run. The chance of points has gone out the window. Right, 8th place. You might say, why get excited about 8th place? Well, I'll tell you why, because we've got some cracking drivers having a really good scrap. We've got Bo Yuan, 87, that's Origin Motorsport, green-white car. Tucked in behind is Vutagon from Vusak, AAS, Phantom Global Racing, and then Prince Abu Bakr Ibrahim. At one moment, he ended up going a bit wide. 3 other drivers came through, but he's hanging on the tail of these 2 Porsches. Oh, little mistake from the driver following him in 11th place. And that was car number 66, getting it a little bit wrong, but holding it back together. Heng Min, Chinese racer, one of an increasing number of Chinese racers competing in the GT World Challenge Asia. Leader in Silveram, there it is, car number 87. So let's just go through the classes. If you have 2 silver ranked drivers, your car is heavier because you don't have any AM in your car. And you have to carry 28 kilos. In Silver-Am, you don't carry that ballast. You've got a silver-ranked driver and a bronze. Pro-Am is a gold-ranked driver and a bronze. And, of course, you have AM as well. You have 2 bronze-ranked drivers in your car. But the majority of this field are effectively a pro or silver and an AM. 3 silver crews leading the way, though. So they have the advantage in terms of driver ranking, but they carry a bit more weight. But it's to balance the whole thing out. But doing a fantastic job. James Yu leading the race and leading the AM class is another Audi driver, and just running super smoothly. 12th place overall. Hiroshi Hamaguchi qualified very, very strongly in 14th, and just has all this experience, all this craft and love of motor racing, and keeping it neat and tidy there. In fact, if anything, he's matching the driver ahead, Heng Min, in the number 66 Mercedes, within a 10th of a second for him. Climax Racing still ahead, but they're not in the same class as each other, so it's not a class battle because Heng Min is in a silver AM driver lineup. As you can see from most of the shots, when you're running on your own, there's plenty of width on the circuit to place your car. When you're trying to make an overtaking manoeuvre, it's quite another matter. And still drivers getting warned for leaving the circuit at turn 8. It's the right-hander where the track drops away halfway through the twisting infield sector, but it's clearly where the drivers are running wide. But we heard before the race, I think it was from Vutikorn into Vubasak, saying the turns have been changed a little bit this year, and he certainly got caught out in qualifying with 5 of his qualifying laps discounted for exceeding track limits. And turn 8 seems to be the one where a lot of drivers running out over the white lines and having to just get back onto line before they turn right again at turn 9. But no problems at all for James Yu. 2.9 seconds clear. Not just relentlessly pulling away, but if anything, his advantage is growing with every lap. The rate of gain, the rate of advantage is stretching in his favour, but still fantastic to see the Ferrari from LM Corsa giving chase. But Frankie Chang, I said there was a little mistake from the driver in 4th place, which is Ruohan Huang, but he's recovered all that he lost. He went from 0.8 of a second down to under 0.4, in fact almost 0.3, and you can see the car with gold on the flanks rather than the black and red Audi in front is the one that's making gains, and he's got a very, very big advantage coming up because his teammate is Marcus Finkelhoff, who's been there, seen it, done it and won it in anything that bears the Audi R8 crest, so he should be very strong in the second half of this 1-hour race. Oh dear, Aston Martin's gone around. Is that Santoso? Yeah, Setiawan Santoso. His teammate, he can't have a teammate getting cross with him. He's the driver who does not have a teammate. He's doing this whole 1-hour race solo. You know what makes a racing car faster? Having headlights you can flash, and AMAC Motorsports' Andrew McPherson is being given a little bit of a flash here and there. And it's the 77 Ferrari from Rover Racing that's tumbled down the order a little bit. In fact, it's one of our camera cars, and I think that must have had a visit to the pits. But this battle for second place, though, still Frankie Cheng Kong Fu. All that racecraft he's gained. When I say over the years, I think, Frankie, we can own up. It's probably a couple of decades now, top-level racing. But up and down the pit lane, Marcus Finkel, he's ready to take over from Ruohan Huang. This will be one of the front-running cars that's likely to pit as soon as they possibly can. And the pit window is now open as of a few seconds ago, so that will come in early. But I would reckon the driver in second place, Ryo Ogawa, there he is in the Ferrari, will stay out as long as he can. Race leader James Yu will stay out as long as he can, maybe another 8 minutes. And they're lapping in 1:36, so let's call it 5 more laps. Or 4 to be on the safe side. They will stay out as long as they can. If they think they're the faster driver in their pairing, of course, have as much of their time as you can. In the background of the shot, the first of front runners, as predicted, from 4th place, Ruohan Huang came in. Looked so he almost went off coming into the pit lane. It's such a sharp turn to get in the pits. Porsche Center Okazaki in the background in the pits. That's been there once, because remember it had the problems when it was hit up the backside. But right now, fresh set of Pirelli rubber. And just remember, from pit in to pit out after the pit stop, minimum of 90 seconds. If you go out after 89.5 seconds, you'll have to come in and stop for half a second in the pit lane and go. But if you just drive through the pit lane, get this, it actually takes you 29.5 seconds, 29.3 seconds. So if you then had a half-second stop and go, that makes the best part of 30 seconds you've blown. So there's no point undercutting the 90-minute minimum. Hirabon comes in. Anthony Liu in the background, the yellow and red Porsche is in. Andre Canard's Porsche 296 is in, but the first one to make the pit stop is this car. And the driver on board, Marcus Finkelhoff, waiting for the team's lollipop to come up. And while he's doing that, James Yu stretching his advantage at the front of the field. The pit window's open, but he'll issue coming into the pits for several more laps. His lead out over 3 seconds now. Strong, strong run. And again, the beauty of GT3 racing is seeing the variety of manufacturers fighting for the front end of the field. And today, in this race, the mix is going to be different to tomorrow's. Tomorrow's race looks though it's much stronger for the pros who run the Mercedes, but in this one, 3 of the top 4 cars on the grid, 3 of the top 4 cars at the time of the pit stops were Audis, with that interloper from Ferrari. Again, the beauty of this minimum 90-second from pit in to pit out, you don't have to rush the pit stop too much. Definitely a safety feature. So Marcus Finkelhoff has come out just ahead of the race leader. There is the race leader, James Yu, now 3.2, nearly 3.3 seconds clear. He doesn't want to be distracted by the German driver in front of him. He'll know that Marcus hasn't overtaken him. He's actually a lap down, but he has served a pit stop. But hey, they're Audis. Look at this, all the cars that came in at the first opportunity, rushing to get back onto the circuit. Have there been any places gained? Unlikely, but do bear in mind that 3 of the runners in this field, I'll just give you their numbers for reference, had success penalties for finishing in the top 3 positions as Hirabon's teammate goes, well, let's have a look into turn 3. Let's not, but if you win a race, the following race, you have to have an extra 15 seconds. It's like night and day at your pit stop. That's car number 4 that Wei Lu started. Second place car from the previous race, the number 30 Craft Bamboo Mercedes, an extra 10 seconds at a standstill. And the Harmony Racing 77 Ferrari, an extra 5 seconds. No such problems for James Yu. Leading the race, he can have a standard pit stop. There he is, 90 seconds minimum from pit in to pit out. And his pace at the moment, well, he's unlikely to be any quicker than Marcus Winkelhock. Maybe a tenth of a second here or there, but he's coming to the end. And in fact, he calls the end of his stint. I could have squeaked in one more lap. I might have thought that was a sensible thing to do, but clearly as he comes in to hand over to Akash Nandi, he thinks the job is done. And the margin, remember, was 3.3 seconds at the end of the previous lap. So there's Akash coming out to open the door, the Malaysian driver. Well, that's a super quick exit from James Yu. James Yu Kwai, you can see YK on the side of his helmet, gets his seat insert out. Each driver slightly different shape, needs something to fit them perfectly. So now he helps his Malaysian teammate Akash Nandi to get the belts on. They practice this as much as they can, but again, with this 90-second minimum pit stop time, it does mean, you know, you can see you don't have to have as many drivers, mechanics working on the car. The driver's job, teammates in, make sure their drinks bottle is connected, make sure the belts are in. But the first car to pit, where is that going to be? There it is on the track. Marcus Winkelhock snaking his way through turn 7 there. He's in behind Setiawan Santoso's Aston Martin. And still at a standstill, Akash Nandi waiting for that single, gets it going, hooks it up nicely. Now his car, his garage is one of the ones towards the end of the pit lane. That will give him a helping hand as through turn 11 down to turn 12, still behind Setiawan Santoso's Aston Martin, but Marcus Winkelhock knows such a tight final corner. No point taking a risk, but look, the pit exit is a very long one. It immediately turns right. In the background, you can see Winkelhock, but still having to stay now accelerating. They're past the white line to it, suggests the exit of the pit lane, coming back out onto the circuit. So Rio Ogawa yet to pit, leading from Tanart Sathi and Thirikul. So it's the 60 Ferrari from LM Corsa, the 911 Porsche from Absolute Racing, but they owe us a pit stop. Hiroshi Hamaguchi leading AM. I said he'd stay out as long as he could, and he was 12th before the pit stops. He's up to 5th. He hasn't stopped either. And nor has car number 30, which is one of the ones that has a success penalty. 10 seconds extra for that Craft Bamboo Racing Mercedes. But the job has been done by James Yu, handing over to Akash Nandi out into the effective lead of the race. But do remember that the first of the front runners to make a pit stop and come in was the car now in the hands of Marcus Winkelhock. Will it be enough to propel it from its 3rd position on the track before the pit stops, its 4th position, I beg your pardon, up to 3rd? Remember, it was Frankie Chang leading around from Ruohan Haohang. And the number 1 Porsche now in the hands of Alessio Picariello has jumped the LM Corsa Ferrari. Anthony Liu started it. Now my timing screen's still saying the 60 Ferrari has not served its pit stop, neither has Tanart Sathi and Thirikul. So that was quite interesting that Picariello, there we are, okay. Now that's interesting. I think Rio Ogawa maybe should have kept on pressing a little more, because I know the yellow and red Porsche is a lap behind, but he sort of let him through. I thought he'd have kept him behind. What do I know? It's all in the tactics. So the pit window will close in another 2.5 minutes. It looks so pretty much all the field just waiting for Hiroshi Hamaguchi to come in in the number 19 Spirit of FFF Audi, and likewise number 30 Mercedes for Craft Bamboo Racing. Tanart Sathi and Thirikul ran very well. Remember, he started 6th, immediately got up to 4th, was moved back to 5th, ran 5th, looked comfortable. The top 5 cars were some way clear, so should return into one of the top 5 positions. And for Tanla, just strapping his teammate in, Ishan Piris, the driver from Sri Lanka. Again, the safety net gets pushed across. Waiting for the team's green and black lollipop to be lifted. We can see through the windscreen, waiting, don't go too soon. Remember, 90 seconds minimum from pit in to pit out. The team on the top of that for them. And, well, to me, that lollipop has been raised, but the car not going anywhere unless there was a secondary. Oh, well, someone coming in. They're being very, very cautious. Well, that was unfortunate. The Aston Martin coming in and certainly not wanting to push it back out. Ferrari coming out of the pits. Wait. Oh, I think this pit stop has really maybe cost Absolute Racing a fair bit. Ishan Piris only now goes over the white line. You accelerate, but you can't accelerate too hard. No longer restricted by the pit limit, but you've just, there he is now. But it's such a tight pit exit. Where is he going to slot in? Remember, that car was 5th before the pit stops. Could James Yu have done another lap before handing over to Akash Nandi? Would counted. But let's go down to the pits, and James Yu started from pole, pulled clear, and he's come in just to talk to Amy.
So James, your stint quite smooth, calm, not much battling, but you made quite a gap. Do you think your partner is going to maintain that?
Yeah, I think the start went as expected. We had a clean start, didn't make any contact. That was exactly what I was going to do in the first place. I think Akash is good around here. He's won races here. So let's hope we can bring it back.
Now it's a battle of your sister car and your car.
Yes, it is. Let's just try to respect each other. We're both in the same team. So hopefully we can all be on the podium.
All right, let's wish for some great battling.
Thank you very much.
Thanks to you.
So thank you, Amy, with James Yu, who started from pole position. He pulled, I think it was 3.3 seconds clear of the chasing Ferrari, but importantly for him, the Ferrari was getting smaller in his mirrors. Now, his car number 41, the Audi, turning through the 12th and final corner. Nice and neat and tidy. As he said, Akash Nandi, the Malaysian driver on board, is a driver who has won races here before. Looking to see all the battle behind. Marcus Finkelhock. No, so it's 41 from 40, the 2 Audis from the Absolute crew, and the gap between them is, let's count the numbers, 2.4 seconds. And in terms of experience, you'd reckon they'll be hauled in bit by bit. Marcus Finkelhock, all that race-winning experience in Audis across the years, ought, in terms of experience and acknowledged pace, be gaining positions. Now, talking about gaining positions, Alessio Picariello just has gone past Ishan Piris. Piris only just into that black, grey and green Porsches, had to cede position. The Belgian coming through, making it look very neat and tidy. So certainly the number 1 car that was started by Anthony Liu has gained positions in the first part of the race. Looks like it's going to be doing the same again this year. And Alessio Picariello was on the podium here twice last year. A year's a long time. A lot of drivers have changed teams. A lot of teams have changed manufacturers. So constant stirring of the pot. Adderley Fong is now in the number 36 Audi. So it really is Audis at the sharp end of the field. He's in challenging the 52 Mercedes, but clearly the pace was there for Fong, the driver from Hong Kong, to make his mark, make his move. And through he goes. So it's Akash Nandi in an Audi, from Marcus Finkelhock in an Audi, from Adderley Fong in an Audi, and the car that's just coming through in 4th place is car number 60. Started from 2nd on the grid, the LM Corsa Ferrari, now in the hands of Shigekatsu Wakisaka. But the driver is probably going to be making the moves is just another 2nd further back, which is Alessio Picariello. In fact, rather less than that. Marcus Finkelhock in 2nd place, going past Ben Porter's Porsche, putting a lap on it. Ben running in the AM class, but he's certainly one of the very quickest AMs. He's put in some great race performances. Doesn't always get the results he might deserve, Australian racer, but right now the margin is 2 seconds on the nose. with the driver leading the race. Akash Nandi, here he is, car number 41. He wants to get past those cars ahead because it's Rod Jane in front of him in the orange and black Be Quick Audi, and he's going to be a lap down, and our race leader dives up the inside. Well, a mistake there, but our race leader continues. But let's go down to the pits and hear from Frankie Chang.
Frankie, I won't keep you too long away from the screen, but great battling. How was it on track?
To be honest, I would say that we have been struggling a little bit this weekend. We don't have the performance and also the confidence like we had in Sepang. But you know, the season is long. It's a 6 weekend. You cannot guarantee every race. Every weekend you are really on top of your game. So considering we are a little bit lacking pace and we're trying to score the points, I think in the end this is the most counted. Yeah.
It looks that you are quite strong within the championship as well. The Audi is doing a fantastic job on this track, and you're looking forward to the podium. How close are you?
Finger crossed, and Adili is a great driver, and Jima really, really close friends and a teammate with him. So I'm pretty sure Adili will bring the car home, and as I said again, you know, scoring point in the end is more important than just win. Yeah.
All right, looking forward to that then. Yes, good luck to you. Bye.
Thank you, and bear in mind that Annalie Fong, who's in the car now, and Frankie Chen won the opening race of this year's championship, Fanatec GT World Challenge Asia, powered by AWS. That was Sepang, but this field is getting not further apart, it's getting closer together, and Akash Nandi made a little mistake just before that interview with Frankie Cheng. He was trying to get a lap ahead of the Be Quick Racing Audi, and up at turn 8, got it wrong, going down the inside, couldn't get the corner, had to go off the circuit and come back on. But so his advantage went from over 2 seconds to 1.5. The car that's making the move, you just see fastest lap of the race, just set by Lucas Stoltz. He's down in 9th position, but he's lapping 0.6 of a second quicker. But he's got a lot of traffic between him and the front of the field. His next target is just up in front, the 93 Porsche. Bastian Boos now on the Porsche Works books. These two drivers have come up through the field together, but certainly Lucas Stoltz, a winner here 12 months ago, is looking supreme in that 888 car, and he's put that on pole for tomorrow's race, so any extra point he can have today will be one that you can put in the pot. But for Frankie Cheng, in his interview, his car's running in 3rd place at the moment. It's about scoring in every single race if you're going to be in such a competitive championship and work your way towards the top of the field at the end of the season. Certainly right there, Bastian Boos in that blue and gold AAS Phantom Global Racing Porsche. He's going to be kept right on his toes. The driver up in front is Ishan Piris. So the two Thai drivers got out. Buttigieg and Fumasak got out of the 93 Porsche. That is now being pushed in our screens by Bastian Boos. And the car vacated by Tanak Satyan Sirikul, now down in 7th place. I thought it would lose a few positions after pit stop. Ishan Piris has fallen from 5th to 7th. But they're going to be on his tail very soon indeed, because the Porsche Mercedes combo is certainly catching. And in turn, I think they're all catching the Ferrari. Yeah, Shigekatsu Wakisaku is losing a little bit of ground. He's down into 6th place. Remember, Rio Ogara ran 2nd in that Ferrari early on. So, looking at the various sectors around the circuit, the Nissan fastest in Sector 1, which takes the cars to just out of turn 3, the hairpin. 63 Lamborghini is fastest in the 2nd sector, and a Porsche, another manufacturer, fastest in that final sector. But look, this is our lead battle. Akash Nandi took over 2.5 seconds clear. It's not 2.5 seconds clear now, because Marcus Winkelholt last time was 0.878 of a second time. This time, 0.56 of a second. But what Akash has to do for the next 18 minutes and small change is keep his cool, keep his calm. But there will most likely be some more lapping to be done. Maybe it'll be the Aston Martin from D-Station Racing. Clearly with that battered front end, it's not as aerodynamic as it could be, but it's about not making a mistake, not losing momentum when you come up to pass the driver. Marcus Winkelholt doing exactly what an experienced driver should do, looking at other lines, looking at other opportunities, seeing if he can unsettle the Malaysian. But Akash doing a really, really good job. But these 18 minutes, it's all right, 17 minutes 50 now, Akash, are going to feel very long indeed. The pressure is going to be huge. You never know, they may start to slow each other down, which maybe gives a chance for Adley Fong to close in, but in fact he's nearly 5 seconds down in 3rd place. Push through turn 5. That's turn 6. Tails starting to kick out. Then it's the right hand around the back of the lake at turn 7. Up over a slight crest. Don't go out too far over the curbing. The corner where most drivers are getting pinged from running wide. Is that one there? Turn 8. Oh, 3.5 wheels on the circuit. You're fine, race leader Akash Nandi. Marcus Finkelhoff doing as well. Exactly the same. The track drops away into a small compression there. All the loading on the car. Trying to get the most out of their rubber. Sometimes they just don't want to turn in. You've got to be super precise. There is a car up ahead. It is the D-Station Racing Aston Martin. Where are they going to find that? Where can they pass that? Into turn 12 they go. Hopefully Tomonobu Fuji will put that car, when he sees the front runners coming through, he'll pull to the side. He's been competing in the World Endurance Championship for years. He's very, very quick indeed. And hopefully he'll have the track craft, knowing it's not his chance of victory today, to keep out of their way. 0.465 of a second. Look at those intervals. 0.6 of a second gained on lap 23, 0.3 of a second 24, 1/10. Now Marcus Finkelhoff right on the tail. This is where it gets harder. You caught him, you closed in. You've got to look on up the track. Akash Nandi, if he can keep it on the racing line, should be fine. But he's got 16 minutes not to crack, and the pressure with every lap is getting more and more as Winkelhock attacks. Is it the point at which? No. I was wondering if Adderley Fong can catch them. He can't. Last time around, he was actually slower than both the drivers ahead. So he's now 5.5 seconds down. So no pressure from third place. All the pressure on the race leader. They are catching the Aston Martin, but actually it's not lapping too badly. Hopefully, yeah, wow, great driving. Aston Martin driver, Fuji, pulled to the right-hand side of the circuit. Actually saw the brakes go on the exit of turn 7. He's kept out of their way, so round of applause for the very gentlemanly Japanese driver there. That's perfect. No interruption of the lead battle. And having let the first and second place Audis through, the D-Station Racing Aston Martin pops out of the tail, then he'll run around behind them, and he doesn't have to worry for quite a few more laps about Adderley Fong in third place. He's not interrupting him, he's about 5 seconds clear. So, silver class leader, Akash Nandi. Okay, now let's look at the order. First and second, there's two Audis, 41 and 40. Third place car is coming now. That Audi just turning in now, car 36. Fourth place, Alessio Picariello, the driver on the move, and then that's in the yellow and red Porsche. Fifth place is Bianyi, car number 87, Origin Motorsport Porsche. Oh, the moves come up at turn 3. I didn't expect it to come so soon. Now, that was a case of getting the slipstream and having the guts and the gumption to have a move up the inside, and Akash Nandi decided not to fight it. I thought we'd have another good lap before that, but actually for now, for the race leader, he's come through when there aren't too many cars up ahead. So I really rather feel for Akash Nandi there. The pressure was coming on. It was how he had handled the traffic, and Tomonobu Fuji made it very easy. He was the next car they were going to pass. He's got car damage. He moved out the way. The Aston Martin's still running right on the tail, as I thought he might. He made it fairly easy for the race leader, but at the very next time it went down to the hairpin. No time like the present, said Marcus Winkelhock. Grabbed the lead, and he should now pull clear. And the gap between back to Adderley Fong in third place is now over 6 seconds. So Akash Nandi should be safe in second. But this car, the 888 Mercedes, is the one that really ought to be gaining ground hand over fist. Has the fastest lap of the race, but up in front of Lucas Stoltz is Bastian Boost, and the blue and gold Porsche not wanting to get out of the way. The Ferrari that ran second in the early stage of the race, getting good pace from Shigekatsu Wakisaka. That's 7th, 8th and 9th, and they're right in that's 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th, because the 911 Porsche at the front of the shop there is in 6th place overall, Eshan Pieris. So even within the top 10, even in the second half of the top 10, this battle, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th, nose to tail, nose to tail, nose to tail. Driving 10th place is young Australian racer who's really starting to impress, Jalen Rowbottom. That is car number 66. But he's some distance off their tail. In fact, he's, 10 seconds, 11 seconds off this pack. This battle alone will keep us entertained. Now, the real question for me is what will happen to Akash Nandi. He's nearly a second down on the lap that he lost the lead to Marcus Finkelhoff, but he has 5.7 seconds over Adderley Fong, surely enough to hold second place. In the world of AM, before the pit stops, running in 12th place overall, looked neat and tidy. For Hiroshi Hamaguchi, Mineki Akura, young Japanese racers taking it over. Neat and tidy. Dropped a few positions, in fact down to 20th place overall. Be Quick Audi keeping out of the way there, kicking up the dust. Anyone that goes off the racing line. The Be Quick car only running in this round of the championship. No point interrupting anyone else's progress. So Rod J knew what he was doing and pulled out of the way. Thank you very much for that. So what this circuit up in Buriram in the inland districts northeast of Bangkok, what this circuit provides is a space to go racing, but when the drivers are really, really evenly matched, it's very hard to make a passing manoeuvre. If you're 0.2 of a second quicker, you may be able to make a move up into turn 3. That's the hairpin, and that's precisely what Marcus Winkelhock did to take the lead in this race. Using all that experience, great racing, and don't forget the drivers who start today in race 1 will be the drivers that take over after the pit stop in race 2. We'll have a total different mix. The cars on the grid are going to be in a completely shuffled order. And whereas today we're not looking at Mercedes at the front end of the field, certainly when the pros get on board in the first half of tomorrow's race, including the 888 car we're looking at right now, they'll be starting at the sharp end. That's tomorrow's pole sitter. But still, Lucas Stoltz tucked in behind that blue and gold Phantom Global Racing Porsche cannot find a way past Bastian Buus. Buus very much one of the rising stars in GT racing and is offering no change to one of the very best drivers out there, Lucas Stoltz. No wonder he's been a works desired driver for Mercedes for a long time, but you have to slightly feel for Bastian Buus here, as much as he's looking in his mirrors to see what's happening, where the next attack is coming from Lucas Stoltz. It looks though he's got the pace to get past Katsu Wakisaka, but every time he even thinks about it, he knows that if he goes wide, Lucas Stoltz is going to come charging on through, so he does not want to leave the door open. So having had 3 silver rank cars in the top 3 positions before the pit stops, the driver change took place, and now we've got a Pro-Am car that's moved from 4th into the lead of the race. Now, riding on board Team Gojigan, it's the one and only Nissan, the Nismo GT3. And here's a race progression chart. So you can see with the bar chart something happened in the middle. That's called a pit stop, but basically after the pit stop was made, it went slotted back very quickly into the same position, just outside the top 10. It's in 11th place overall at the moment, Yuka Amaru, and just trying to see his next target. In fact, he's closing in quite well on the number 66 Mercedes, so we could have a top 10 for the Nismo. Again, busy place, that cockpit. Look, all of the tubing, the ducting, a lot of that's to get fresh air in among the driver environment there. Team Gojigan, such a strong supporter of GT racing in Japan in particular, but it's great to have it outside the country racing here. We had it in Malaysia, we've got it here in Thailand. Then, of course, GT World Challenge has its own Japan Cup rounds. We go to Japan next time out. Sugo. Wakisaka is having to work so hard to keep Bastian Buus behind him, and that actually allows just up ahead Ishan Piris to pull a little further clear in the number 911 Porsche, just going out of the front of the shot. But the Ferrari Porsche Mercedes battle is GT racing at the best. 3 different manufacturers, 3 different driver nationalities, 3 different driving styles. It's about not making mistakes. Battle for 3rd place, closing right up. Here's Adderley Fong. Can he hold off Alessio Picariello? That is the big question, because the yellow and red Porsche is getting closer all the time. While our race leader, Marcus Winkelhock, slapping in 1 minute 34.6s. Second fastest driver of the race is the driver of that number 1 yellow and red Porsche. That's Alessio Picariello. And I tell you what, he's got company not too far behind, because Bian Yi in the green and white Porsche number 87 from Origin Motorsports isn't too far back in 5th place overall, and then Ishan Piris following along in 6th place. Adderley Fong shared victory in the opening race of the opening round at Sepang, but his 36 Audi, well, what have we got left on the clock? 8 minutes left in the race. That's how long he's got to resist the charging Belgian. Looking here, looking there. Just double checking to see if there's going to be any response from Adderley Fong. No excuses for the track to clear up ahead of him. But sometimes having someone right on your tail can really, really add the pressure. Slightly distract you, slightly take away from you having the very best lines. But Adderley has been racing for quite some while. cool, calm, collected. This is the driver in second place, Akash Nadi, 2.4, 2.5 seconds as he goes through the final corner to complete another lap. 2.5 seconds down on race leader Marcus Finkelhoff last time. 3.3 seconds this time around. He's managed to pull clear of the battered D-Station Racing Aston Martin. That's a lap down. The third place car is the Audi, the black and red one that follows. The fourth place car is the yellow-red Porsche. Fifth place car, the green and white Porsche. Wait for it, wait for it. The grey Porsche with the green headlights, that's in sixth. That's the Champiris. Then Waki-Saka's Ferrari in seventh. Bassibus's Porsche, and ninth place overall, Lucas Stolt completing the top 10. The black and white Mercedes in the background, Jalen Robotham, and in behind the number 500 Nissan giving chase. So, going through the classes, top in the silver class is Akash Nandi, now in second place overall. Race leader is also the Pro-Am class leader, that's Marcus Finkelhoff. Silver Am leader, best of those is Bian Yi, the 87 Porsche from Origin Motorsport in fifth place overall, and the leading Am car is still Mineki Akura, which is the Spirit of FF Racing Team Audi. Now, the one and only BMW went well in the first stage of the race, still pressing on to see what will come their way. Team KRC, 89, black with the orangey gold stripe over the bonnet and flaring out on the tail. And that's in 13th place overall with the Kiwi racer John O'Lester. One position behind him and half a second down is Ralph Aron, the black and green Climax Racing Mercedes. Both these drivers are capable of going further up the field. Certainly, Aron has shown very strong pace. Right, 4 seconds down on the race leader. But heading to silver class victory, Akash Nandi. James Yu led away from pole in that car. Here's the battle for third place. It's still, well, it's closing up all the time. But Fong's got Picariello right under his tail, and Bian Yi took tenths of seconds off the pair of them as they fight over third. Bian Yi's going, you know what, I'm going to close in. This could be salvation for Adderley Fong. He wants the pressure off his tail, so he just, no doubt, he and his crew are urging Bian Yi to get closer to the green and white Porsche. Oh, the front end of Picariello's Porsche did not want to turn it. He's taking every ounce of life out of his Pirellis in his quest to catch Adderley Fong's Audi for third place. Here's the second place car, Akash Nandi. Second on the track, leading the silver class. But he was passed relatively easily by Marcus Finkelhoff. But since then, holding on, leading the silver class. So that will be a useful haul of points for him and the driver, his teammate who started from pole, from James Yu. Lost half a second to the race leading Audi. Sister car from the 40-41 combination, both run by Audi Sport Asia Team Absolute. So plenty of pride down in the garage for Ingo Mata and the gang at Absolute. Oh, Bian Yi's trying his hardest in that green and white Porsche to catch Alessio Picariello, who's been trying his hardest and even more to get past the Audi number 36 in this battle for third place. 4 minutes remain on the clock. So the final 2.5 laps, one would suggest, or 3 laps of them, you don't deal in fractions of a lap. Through turn one, it's not really an overtaking position, apart from perhaps on the opening lap of the race. Gosh, when I look at the Aston Martin in the background, it's lost a bit of ground, but clearly its aero is completely wrecked by the contact in the early stages of the race. But Tomonobu Fuji on a cruising for nothing. Oh, is this the move from Alessio Picariello? That tighter line, just enough space on the outside for Adderley Fong to hold ground, but that has allowed Bian Yi to get closer and closer. Third, fourth and fifth. Third and fourth super close, and one more slip from either of them. And Bian Yi, for the Origin Motorsport Porsche, will be right onto their tail. You could say, meanwhile, up the track, because the first two cars are cleared. 4.3 seconds between first and second, 6.5 seconds back to this battle for third place. Of course, they're slowing each other down as they fight, but Picariello's starting to run out of time. Is he starting to run out of tricks? He made a potential move into the hairpin at turn 3 at the start of this lap. It didn't quite work. It allowed Bian Yi in fifth place behind to get a little bit closer, but Adderley Fong's going to be thinking, what is Picariello going to do next time around? He's going to try and do something. What and when and where? That is the question. Where will the move come? Will it come? Down the long straights they go, slipstream, and don't do it this time. You've got another chance next time around. So, turn 12 completed. See how close it is. Slight advantage that time for the driver in third place, Van der Fong. He's got a massive 5/10, half a second margin over Picariello. But the bad news for the Porsche driver, he's got another Porsche driver on his tail, leading the Silver Ram class. Car number 87, there it is in 5th place overall. It could very easily move up as high as 3rd, and certainly you can be sure Bian Yi, Chinese racer, is trying his absolute all as they run down for the penultimate time to the hairpin at turn 3. And Picariello, by the way, last year didn't take a win here. He took a 2nd and a 3rd. Last time he was showing with Vutagon in Fuvasak. This year with last year's champion, Anthony Liu. Here is our race leader, Marcus Finkelhoff, with a margin of over 5 seconds now. Trying to get past the Folgas Motorsport Porsche, one of the crew from Korea. Lights are flashing. Doesn't have to take a risk. Talk about risk. How about swapping wing mirrors? And 3 abreast through turn 6. And, oh, unfortunately for Picariello, he gets shoved wide, and Bian Yi looks as though, no, not quite. Yeah, he comes across. Anna Lee Fong will be getting, how you say, a little warm, a little hot under the collar there. Fantastic, but side by side, 3 cars going through a tight left-hander. It was never going to work, but these drivers are good enough not to drop it. And Bian Yi looks like he's almost standing on the brakes in front of Alessio Picariello. And Anna Lee Fong must be going, I've been praying for a few laps. Thank you. I've been given a tiny, tiny bit of a breathing margin there. Will it be enough? They'll be going on. We've got into the final minute as they're coming down to turn 12. So this, just trying to gauge the margin. This should be the final lap that our race leader is on to now. But 3rd place looks, for now, as though it's been settled. Well, let's take a look what happened. This is going up the inside into turn 5, or holding the inside line, as Alessio Picariello tried to go to the outside. Then it looked as though Anthony Fong, as he became the ham or the jam or whatever you want to call it in the sandwich, he was stuck in the middle of those 2 Porsches. But Bian Yi was on the outside line for turn number 7. You're not going to make it work. Now back, no longer in replay. This is a case of, I've got to just about hold on to the inside line into turn 3, into the hairpin. Can I do it? Picariello's on the outside, the nose is in front. He had the wider line. That will be the harder one. Bian Yi, of course, will drift towards the exit of the corner. All 4 wheels. If he had 6 wheels, 6 wheels have been off the circuit there for Picariello as he went out of turn 3. But Picariello is the top driver for nothing. He is leaving no change on the table. He's on the inside line into turn 4. Sharp intake of breath. Bian Yi has to back out. You can be sure most of those drivers will be having a heart rate way higher than they had when they sat on the grid. But right now, Marcus Finkelhoff leading round. He'll be about 4 corners ahead of them coming towards the end. It looks though 3rd place has now been settled. Well, what a battle between Anthony Fong, Alessio Picariello and Bian Yi. The order was nearly shuffled. It was shuffled, and then it was shuffled back the other way again. But our race leader coming down for the final time into turn 12 on this 12-turn circuit. Marcus Finkelhoff will be flashing through for a famous win. It all went wrong, but for him and his teammate Rohan Huang, that is their first victory of the campaign. 2nd place will come Akash Nandi in the back of that grouping. So great delight, a 1-2 for the Audi Sport Asia team, absolute. And 3rd place will go to another Audi, and it will go to Anthony Fong, sharing with Frankie Chen. Alessio Picariello, the yellow and red Porsche, holds on to 4th place. Bian Yi comes across the line to win the Silver Ram class in 5th place overall. And Tanat Sathi and Thirikul gets a 6th place overall because his teammate Ishan Pieris has come home in that 911 in 6th overall. Well, so much to consider in that race. An absolute cracker. Pro-Am car wins the race. That's Marcus Finkelhoff and Rohan Huang. Silver class combo takes 2nd place. That's Akash Nandi and James Yu, who drove so well to lead from pole position. Silver Am honours, as we mentioned, going to go to the car in 5th place, Bian Yi, car number 87, that Mercedes from Craft Bamboo, sorry, Origin Motorsport, the Porsche shared with Wan Bo. Oh, that has been a tough race, a fun race, fantastic, all the way through to finish. And Am honours will go to Mineki Akura, coming through just in 21st position, but winning that class. Max Wieser actually got very, very close indeed. Max Wieser, Massimiliano Wieser, is always about to take it on the final lap. They're coming down towards the final corner. The Ferrari driver just can't do it. He's closed and he's closed. I didn't know the last 2 laps. I took my eye off the board to see how much he was closing. I didn't think it was going to be that much, but there we are. And the car that was cruising to Am victory takes it by the skin of its teeth. Wow. with so many cars to watch in the 33-car field. Can't keep your eyes on that battle, but Weezer rejoining for the championship for the first time since, I think, 2016. That was quite an impact. Second in the AM class. Could have been victory on the final lap, but just lost out. But overall victory, and also victory in the Pro-Am class. Marcus Winkelhock and Ruohan Huang. So get used to some new names at the top. Winkelhock is not a new one, but Huang most certainly is. So he'll be super happy, surprised and content down in the pit lane there, waiting for his German teammate to come in. Silver winners in second place overall. Akash Nandi, who brought it home, and James Yu. Well, that was an exquisite race. Almost need to watch it all over again. So much was happening, and this circuit certainly does provide very, very entertaining racing. But for me, the size of the race was three cars, three of the front-running cars fighting over third position, side by side, three abreast through a tight left-hand corner at turn 6, and yet not coming to blows. But here is the car 36. Adley Fong resisted all the pressure. He was the one in the middle of those two Porsches, but he breathed in, eventually he breathed out, possibly just now when he crossed the finish line, and held on to that third position overall. Well, what a race, and certainly Audi taking the plaudits in the first race, but the order is going to be, I think, very, very different tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but some exquisite racing out there on the circuit today. And of course, the drivers that started the first race in any round of Fanatec GT Asia, they'll be the drivers that start second half of the race tomorrow. So it's a very, very different mix overall. And still in this full field of cars coming, you'll see AMAC Motorsport. They've taken third place in the AM class, but 33 cars started the race. We almost got all 33 to the end, but three Audis in the first three positions, with Ruohan Huang and Marcus Winkelhock taking victory after the pit stops. James Yu led early on, but he had to settle with teammate Akash Nandi for second place overall. And the third Audi, car number 36, also running in the silver class. Adley Fong brought it home. Frankie Chang started, so good points for them. Alessio Picariello and Anthony Liu, he was last year's champion, had to settle for fourth place, but what a scrap they had. They were the best Porsche runner with Bo Yuan and Leo Yi-Hong Lee in fifth place in their Porsche, and Ishan Piris and the better place, the two Thai drivers, Tanat Sathi and Thirukul, in sixth place overall. The Ferrari of Ryo Ogawa and Shigekatsu Wakisaka, best of the prancing horses, ran second in the first half of the race, had to make do with seventh place. Lucas Stoltz and Prince Abubakar Ibrahim, top Mercedes crew in eighth overall. Hang Min and Jalen Rowbottom ninth in their Mercedes, and Hirabon right at the end of the race with Yu Kanemaru, in fact, finishing the race, got into the top 10 in their Nissan. So that you can see the classes spread with a Pro-Am winner ahead of two silvers next to Pro-Ams. The Silver Am class winner in fifth overall. And then, of course, just outside the top 20, here we are now. Who took victory? It was Hiroshi Hamaguchi and Mineki Okura, the red colour around their car number. That means the AM class, but pushed all the way. David Chipto Biantoro started the race, but Massimiliano Weezer closed in at the end. Fantastic run, and eventually under a second, just over half a second down in the AM class. So plenty going on. Porsche Center Okazaki, car number 18, one of their two cars. We lost that early on. Of course, rear contact. It didn't rejoin the race. Climax Racing Mercedes number 52 also didn't finish. And the VSR Lamborghini of Bianchi and Eduardo Liberati limped in, had an extra pit stop, and that's why they ended up 31st. But it was all about Audi today. Top three positions, and I think there'll be very, very happy faces, and most notably for Audi Sport Asia Team Absolute. They took first and second in the race today, and now they're gathering in front of the podium, the finishing cars, the class finishing cars, all down on the track. Great sight as you look down high from the grandstands down to the podium ceremony that will be starting fairly soon. But that was plenty of action piled into an hour of racing. And Marcus Winkelhock is out, and applause all round for the crew. He had to push hard, but he made a decisive move to take the lead of the race, and did exactly why Audi keep him on their books. He did the overtaking, and there's Ruohan Huang. We did it. Most certainly they did. Yeah, it really was a fabulous job, but it's great to have new faces up on the top step of what will be the podium when they get up there. So again, the pot has been stirred. And in race one, it looked as though Audi had a good chance of victory, and Audi cars, the R8 LMSs, filled the top three positions. All that experience in racing. And Marcus can't get his helmet off, all hot and bothered, but you know what, that's another top result for the German, and freed from his helmet, and just need his winner's hat to go on, and we'll hear his thoughts, and also Ruohan Huang. So the Chinese driver, started the race, and Marcus finished it. So let's go down and hear the thoughts of what will be a very, very happy crew with Amy.
Marcus, a very happy winner here. He just took his helmet off and sweating all over. It was a hot race, but congratulations on your... Let's put it back there. Congratulations, amazing win.
Yeah, it was a great race. Car was really good all weekend, and qualifying I was a bit unlucky with traffic. Never managed to get a perfect lap time, but anyway, I think it was a good result for me. And Ron, especially, I'm really happy for him to have a podium and let's say on top of the podium. I'm really happy, really, especially after Sepang, after 2 DNFs. It's nice to be on the podium now.
So speaking of Juan, where? Oh, there you go. Congratulations! Amazing battling for you for your stint, and you're in the middle of the podium now. Congratulations!
It feels still amazing for me. Yeah, we didn't have good luck back in Sepang, so we're trying to prepare everything here. Me and Marcus, I think we finally did it. And those guys behind the camera, I love them. I love them so much, and also my family. I know you are watching. Love you.
Congratulations, and I hope you get to party hard with your family.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amy, and it's great to have new faces. Just 2 years ago, Rohan was racing in TCR, you know, sort of silhouette touring cars. Last year he dipped his toe, in fact, racing in the Super Series here in Thailand. He got GT3 experience, but by golly, he's learned very, very quickly. So victory helped nobly by Marcus Winkelhock, but again, another face joining that we're not accustomed to, not only getting on the podium, but claiming that top position for victory and winning the Pro-Am class for good measure in doing so. So again, great to have new people challenging at the front end. And let's have a look after round 3, the 2 races at the opening rounds in Malaysia. Wei Lu at the very top of the chart with victory in one of them. Anthony Liu and Alessio Picario, that 4th place today helped them up into 2nd overall. Prince Abu Bakar Ibrahim is 3rd overall. Different teammate this weekend. He's got Lucas Stoltz on board, but I think that car's starting on pole tomorrow. That could be the one that's the top of the point. But let's go down with our silver winners. 2nd place overall, car number 41, Akash Nandi and James Yu, who flew.
So I'm here with the silver winners. I'm seeing some sportsmanship here. Akash Nandi, what a stint for you. It was hot, I guess, out there. Probably not what you expected, but still, silver winner. Congratulations.
Yeah, really happy to have won the silver category. I mean, James did an amazing job to start the race, keep it in the lead, open up the gap, and all I had to do was just stay consistent. But yeah, very good job by the team and by ourselves. Our car was performing well as well. So looking forward to the next.
The next one is tomorrow, so rest well.
Thank you.
James, what a great race for you today. We'll have another one tomorrow, but looking at the championship, this silver win is pretty good for you guys.
Yes, it's very significant for us. It's our first time doing this championship in this format. I think we had a good start, and Akash did everything he could, and he did the best he could given what he had, because he needs to take care of track limits. So, you know, really happy with the results.
Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you, Amy. Well, I tell you what, there was just a fantastic hour of racing. Let's take a look at the highlights. It seems a long time ago, but from pole position, James Yu, just heard from him, led away in that yellow-fronted Audi. Around the outside rear goer had a look, but diminishing returns ahead to tuck in. The green flanked grey Porsche moved up from 6th to 4th. That's Tanat Sathian Thiracal trying to do his very best on home ground, but it really started to boil down to a great scrap at the front end of the field. Car number 36, Frankie Chang, pushing on in that, and there is Rohan Huang tucked in behind and performing a great job. He handed over as soon as he possibly could to Marcus Winkelhock. There's Marcus climbing on board. He was one of the first drivers to pits, and everybody else came in that 10-minute pit window. It was a question of where they would rejoin. Car that went slightly backwards was the LM Corsa Ferrari, and that tumbled down. It was 2nd before the pit stops, but eventually would finish in 7th place overall, but a car making great moves after the pit stops. The 888 Mercedes, there it is. The driver who's on pole for race 2, Lucas Stoltz, pushing and pushing, but there was no give at all from the car in front for a long time. It sat there. Bastien Bus eventually had a tumble right towards the end of the race and lost ground. In that had to come in and serve a second pit stop. May well have been a penalty that wasn't picked up, but this is where the scrap for third place got very, very serious. The Audi in the middle, that's it, 3 abreast through turn 6. You can see Picaro trying to go on the outside. He had to back it off, and Leo Yi Hong Lee was in the green and white Porsche, went from 5th, nearly into 3rd, back into 4th, but at the end it was job very well done from Marcus Winkelhock. No point trying to pick off a back marker through turn 12, and the checkered flag would be greeting him. There it is, wave. So victory for the car that just worked its way slowly up to the front of the field and eventually took victory by just under 6 seconds. Rohan Huang delighted. So the podium is upon us for Winkelhock.
Race 1 of the Fanatec GT World Challenge Asia, powered by AWS at Chang International Circuit. We will start the ceremony with the GT3 overall winners. We welcome with big applause on third place,
in charge of ceremonies. We're waiting for the crew that came 3rd overall. Adelie Fong and Frankie Cheng Kung Fu. Frankie leads the duo up onto the podium, but bear in mind they've already taken a win at Sepang, so they're gathering points by the handful. And Akash Nandi and James Yu Kwai being brought up. They started on pole position. They win the silver class in 2nd place overall. 2 drivers ranked as silvers.
And the overall winners,
and outright winners,
car number
Rohan
40,
Huang and Marcus Winkelhock. So the teammates in 2nd and 1st positions for 40 and 41. That's the crews. The R8 entered by Audi Sport Asia Team Absolute. So Marcus Winkelhock, how many podiums has he stood on the top of? But for Rohan Huang, this is a new experience up on the top step.
Technical Thailand to award the trophies, please.
And so Rover Racing, big experience in this championship, big presence, and Rata Urasapone, who's director of Borneo Technical Thailand. They're the distributors for Rover Oils in Thailand. He comes out to present the trophies up on the step. Also Rover trophies for pole positions, so they're certainly getting involved big way in the Fanatec GT Asia Series. But Marcus Winkelhock, another trophy for his trophy cabinet. Or does he have to give it to the team? Trophy held aloft. Rohan Huang delighted alongside him on the top of the podium. And of course, the format is trophies, get those handed out, photographs, and then of course we know what follows next. And there'll be 6 drivers up there, 3 of them very hot, that just got out of the cars. When it gets to champagne time, you can be sure it will be flowing for all of them up on the podium. But for the Audi gang, it's looking good. Top 3 positions, all Audi crews.
Gentlemen, please take the champagne in front of you into your hands.
And if the people in front, including Rata Urasapone, have anything about them, they will move off the podium quite shortly, because it is going to be champagne time. Who's going to be first with the champagne? James Yu gets it a-firing, and the victory music plays out just to refresh your memories. Pro-Am victory, outright victory for Rohan Huang and Marcus Winkelhock. 2nd place, Akash Nandi, and the driver on the left of the screen, James Yu, and Adelie Fong and Frankie Cheng took 3rd place. So it was a Pro-Am from 2 silver crews up on the top step of the ultimate podium, the top podium here at Chang International Circuit. 12 months ago, we had thunderstorms, we had lightning, we had a delayed race. All the thunder today is out on the racing circuit. And we're going to do it all over again tomorrow. Can't wait.
Okay, I think we have enough photos, do we? Great.
So,
Congratulations,
of course, that's not the last of the podiums, but we will work our way through. But taking a look at the battle, Audi on tip-top form today. And this is Akash Nandi in car number 41. He took over in the lead of the race off the pit stop, but the immovable force, the wave that came through, was Marcus Winkelhock in the sister car number 40, swept into the lead of the race, pulled clear, eventually won by 5.9 seconds to take not only outright victory, but the Pro-Am honours as well. So his teammate cooling down in the pit lane, Rohan Huang, would have enjoyed the second half of the race as much as the first half when he was the driver at the wheel of that number 40 Audi. So really cracking racing, very clean and tidy. We had a tiny bit of car contact. Certainly the D-Station Racing Aston Martin had a little bit of damage, but very, very clean out on the circuit. Now, working through the classes, this is the Silver Am class, so a bronze rank driver alongside a silver driver. If you're Pro-Am, you can have a gold driver along an Am, but this is the crew that took 3rd in class, crew number 500. It's the Nissan from Team Gojig and Hirabon and Yu Kanemaru, 2nd place coming up onto the podium is the 66 crew. This is from Climax Racing. Heng Min and young Australian Jalen Rowbottom. They're, as a pair, going better and better. They were 9th overall. And then the crew that win the Silver Am class. Car number 87 coming up onto the podium. Their drivers, Wan Bo, Leo Yihong Lee. That is it from day one here at the Chang International Circuit. Second round of Fanatec GT Asia. Join us tomorrow for race 2. So the Silver Am podium there, and on the top step of that, Leo Yihong Lee, car number 87, alongside Wambo, 2 Chinese drivers for Origin Motorsport, last year racing as R&B Racing, and having great success and more since the name changed. So they're 5th overall and winning the Silver Am ranking here at the Chang International Circuit. Tomorrow, the driver who started the race will be the driver doing the second half of the race, but today, for this sextet of drivers, it's a chance to spray the champagne from the podium. Jalen Rowbottom nearer to the camera, Min Heng behind him, but really in the background, of course, the 500 crew who got into the top 10, Yu Kanemaru and Hirabon, the Nissan drivers going supremely well. So they're all the Silver Am top 3 within the top 10 of this race. So very impressive from them. So almost all the podium ceremonies over here at the Chang International Circuit in Thailand. So let's take a look at the standings. Cash Nandi and James Yu. This is outright 61 points, only 3 points clear from Frankie Cheng Kung Fu and Adelie Fong. So Audi looks pretty handy at the moment. Then Kailua Lua and Jiatong Liang, Harmony Racing, they didn't have such a good run today at all. In fact, they finished down in 28th position, but they're still good in the championship. They're still in 3rd overall. They were the leaders, but maybe they can bounce back tomorrow in the second race here at Chang International Circuit at Buriram in upcountry Thailand. Absolute Racing, Ishan Piris and Tanat Satyan Thirikul very much in the mix. And don't forget, the car that's 5th in class, the Ferrari, is the one that's really starting to show good form. It was 2nd the first half of this race. So this is the AM podium. 3rd place in car class was the 51 Porsche crew from AMAC Motorsport, Andrew McPherson and Ben Porter. 2nd place, 75 Garage 75 Ferrari crew of David Chipto, Biantoro and Massimiliano Visa, who very nearly caught the race-winning Audi at the end. It was down to under half a second, but victory goes to the number 19 crew in the AM class, and that's a Spirit of FF Racing Audi of Hiroshi Hamaguchi and Mineki Akura. Mineki would have been delighted there wasn't another minute or 2 in the race, but he held on to take AM victory again for this crew. So back out onto the podium is Rata Urasapone, director of Borneo Technical Thailand, who distributes all the Rover Racing oils for Thailand. You can see he's got a bit of champagne all over his shirt, so he's getting used to life on the podium. But for all these drivers, again, with this multi-class format, there are plenty of chances of taking victory, and your main aim is to win your class and gather the points that you can put together through the course of the championship. The top step today, but only just the Spirit of FFF Racing. But a really, really good challenge from David Chipto Biantoro's team with that Ferrari from Garage 75. Champagne Time and AMAC Motorsport. 3rd on the track today, but certainly 1st with the spray. Andrew McPherson on the right-hand side of the podium very much enjoys his racing, loves coming here to Thailand, and again, another good collection of points for the AMAC crew. But today it was FFF Racing team that just took it, but Garage 75 have shown their hand. 2nd place today. Who knows tomorrow? Super, super close in the AM class. What will the weather bring tomorrow? The flag's already started to blow around in the wind. Will there be rain? Will it stay dry? Today we were lucky. Who knows what's coming tomorrow? But of course, the drivers that started today will do the second half tomorrow, and the grid is entirely mixed from today's grid. So we're going to have an entirely different look at GT3 racing here. Fanatec GT Asia, and it was very, very impressive again from Spirit of FFF. Racing with that number 19 Audi, but they had to be right on their toes at the end of the race when the Garage 75 Ferrari got closer and closer, and possibly with another lap might have taken it, but they didn't. Not quite today, but certainly for FFF, another great run and a haul of points. Oh. So we're all over and out. Join us again for race 2 tomorrow at Chang International Circuit.